Hey viewers, welcome back to my channel. Today's story is about Emily, a young woman who turned to tarot for answers about her future husband and ended up discovering something she never expected. What she learned that night kept her awake for days and changed the course of her life forever. The story begins on a quiet fall evening in Seattle, where the city lights shimmered across wet streets after a fresh drizzle. Emily had always been a dreamer, someone who believed that fate had a plan for everyone. But lately, her life felt like a cycle of unanswered questions about love, career, and the future she couldn't see clearly. Scene starts on a breezy Saturday afternoon. Emily was sitting in her small apartment near the University District, surrounded by textbooks, coffee mugs, and half-finished journal entries. Her best friend Lauren had invited her to a local fall festival. The festival had food stalls, art booths, and one thing that immediately caught Emily's attention: a tarot reading tent decorated with warm fairy lights and velvet curtains. To the festival walkway, people moved around with hot chocolate cups. Live music echoed through speakers, and the smell of caramel apples drifted through the air. Emily hesitated for a moment but felt a strange pull toward the tarot tent. She had never taken tarot seriously before, but something about that moment felt like destiny calling. Scene shifts as Emily steps inside the dim, cozy tent. Soft incense floated in the air, and a woman in her late 30s sat behind a small wooden table. Her name was Claire. Her calm eyes and inviting smile made Emily feel strangely safe, as if she had known her for years. Emily sat down nervously as Claire placed a candle between them, its flame flickering like it had its own heartbeat. Claire asked what Emily wanted to know. Without thinking too much, Emily said she wanted to know about her future husband, who he would be, where she would meet him, and when her love story would begin. Scene moves into the reading table. Claire shuffled the tarot cards slowly, her fingers gentle but deliberate. The room felt quieter now, almost suspended in time. When she finally pulled the first card, Emily felt her heart skip. It was the Tower. Scene transitions to the flame trembling as if sensing tension. The Tower represented chaos, unexpected change, and emotional disruption. Claire's expression changed slightly. Not fear, but concern. She told Emily that the beginning of her love story would not be easy. There would be a breakdown before a breakthrough. Something that would shake her deeply before leading her to the right path. Emily felt a chill, but she stayed silent as Claire pulled the next card. It was the moon. Scene shifts to Claire staring at the card with focused eyes. The moon symbolized secrets, illusions, and hidden truths. Claire told Emily that the man she would meet soon would have a mysterious past, something he wouldn't reveal immediately, and Emily would have to decide whether to trust him or walk away. The third card was the Lovers. Scene moves to Emily's heartbeat quickening. Claire said the connection would be powerful, immediate and unforgettable, but also fragile. It would depend entirely on Emily's choices. The future was open but sensitive. One wrong step could change everything. Scene changes as Claire places her hand gently on Emily's. She warned Emily that her future husband would enter her life at the wrong time, at the wrong place, and under the wrong circumstances, but he would be the right person, if Emily was ready for the truth. Emily walked out of the tent feeling shaken, yet strangely hopeful. The night sky felt heavier, as if holding secrets. She replayed the reading in her mind. Chaos, secrets, powerful connection. A storm before the love. Scene transitions to the next morning. Emily sat at a cafe near campus, sipping coffee and trying to convince herself that tarot was just a fun experience. Nothing more. But as she stepped outside, she bumped into a guy who was rushing in. Her coffee spilled a little, and she looked up to see a tall guy with deep brown eyes and a quiet, magnetic aura. His name was Mason. Scene shifts to Emily being unexpectedly drawn to him. He apologized politely, and the moment their eyes met, she felt something, that strange pull, like the universe was nudging her. He looked familiar, but she couldn't place why. Scene changes to the campus courtyard. Mason walked with her for a few minutes, explaining he was new to Seattle and had transferred to a nearby college. He seemed reserved, thoughtful, and slightly troubled, exactly like the tarot reading had warned. Emily tried to ignore the connection she felt, but it only grew stronger. Scene transitions to late evening. Emily told Lauren about the tarot reading and the sudden encounter with Mason. Lauren laughed it off, saying Emily was overthinking everything, but Emily couldn't ignore the way her heart had reacted when she met Mason. It was too real. Scene shifts to a few days later. Emily kept seeing Mason around campus, in the library, at the cafeteria, near the bus stop. He wasn't following her. Their paths just kept crossing naturally. Each time, their conversations got longer, softer, and more personal. Emily felt the beginning of something she hadn't felt in years. Excitement, curiosity, fear, and warmth all mixed into one. Scene moves to a rainy evening on the campus bridge. Mason shared something personal. He told Emily he had left his previous college because of a difficult situation involving his family. He didn't give details, but there was pain in his voice. The moon card flashed in Emily's mind. Secrets, hidden truths. Still, she felt safe with him. Emily and Mason spent more time together. They visited bookshops, small cafes, art galleries, and peaceful lakeside trails. Emily felt like she could breathe around him, like she had finally found someone who understood her without needing explanations. But the reading haunted her. One night, she decided to ask him directly about his past. Mason paused for a long time before saying he wasn't ready. He said he cared about her deeply, but he wasn't sure she would want to stay if she knew everything. The room felt colder instantly. Scene shifts to Emily lying awake at night. The tower, the moon, the lovers. Everything was happening exactly as Tarot predicted. The fear of the unknown became heavier. She wanted to trust him, but doubt kept whispering. Scene transitions to the following week. Mason suddenly became distant. His texts got shorter. His energy changed. Emily felt something was wrong. Scene moves to the library where everything began. Emily found Mason sitting alone, looking exhausted and mentally drained. He finally opened up. There was a serious family issue involving his younger brother, who had gotten into trouble back home. Mason was hiding a painful responsibility. He was trying to help financially, emotionally, and legally. Emily felt the weight of his words. This wasn't a minor secret. It was a life-changing one. Scene changes to Emily wrestling internally. She cared for him, deeply. But the tarot had warned about emotional chaos. And here it was, raw, real, and overwhelming. She spent the night crying, not because of Mason's secrets, but because she realized she was falling, in love with someone whose life was full of storms. Scene transitions to the next morning. Emily walked to the lakeside trail where she and Mason used to sit. She waited there until he arrived, unsure of what she would say. But when he saw her, relief washed across his face. Scene shifts to Emily making a decision. She promised herself that love wasn't meant to be perfect. It was meant to be brave. If she walked away now, she would spend her whole life wondering, what if? She told Mason that she wanted to face the truth, not run from it. Scene transitions to the coming weeks. Emily helped Mason through his family struggles. She stood by him during the difficult calls, emotional days, and sleepless nights. Their bond grew stronger, not because of romance, but because of resilience. Scene moves to the final emotional moment. Months later, the situation settled. Mason finally smiled again, a real smile. And one quiet evening, he told Emily he had something to say. He said that through every storm, she had been the one constant light. And that was the moment Emily finally understood the tarot reading. The chaos was real. The secrets were real. The connection was real. But the ending was beautiful. Her future husband wasn't someone perfect. He was someone worth fighting for. And that night, Emily finally slept peacefully.